Hi everyone and welcome back. More and more I am realizing the great blessing that God has bestowed upon us as believers to be His children and to understand the call of God on our life, not just in a personal way, but in a corporate way, that God is raising up a people for Himself in the nations of the earth. And this is amazing. This is so powerful. And that's what we need to see. And that the enemy will do everything he can to undermine God's plan and God's purposes. The enemy has his own agenda, has his own strategy, and we need to be wise according to that. You see, Jesus said we need to live in this world, but not to be of it. In other words, I recognize as a born-again believer that the life that God has called me to is different to the life of others who don't know Christ. I realize that there will be persecution, there will be suffering as a result of that. But it's important that I understand and that we understand as born-again believers that God has set us apart for His purposes. And our ways and our thoughts and our understandings and attitudes and actions are not of this world, but they are of God. We have been placed in this world, as Paul writes in the book of Philippians, to be lights in the midst of a wicked and perverse generation. We've been placed in this world to be the salt, to purify, to bring righteousness. We've been placed in this world for the purposes of God. We're not of it, but we've been placed in it. There is much persecution that has come up over the years. Christians who have lived in Islamic countries, they know the reality of persecution and have died for their faith. But there's persecution that is creeping into all the Western countries, and it's creeping in through devious teachings, teachings that have come into the church that promote immorality, that promote adultery, that promote promiscuity, double standards, compromise. And we need to stand for the truth and hold on to the truth and to recognize that we're not in competition for the world. We need to understand that we're not called to be relevant to the world. We're called to be different, to show the light and the life of God in everything that we do, we speak, or act. That's the presence. That's the call that God has placed upon us. That's the challenge. And we need the Lord to help us. So may God bless you and keep you.